Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Pixarspective, our retrospective podcast series. Mini-series, more like, because there's not that many Pixar films. Anyway, with me, as always, is me, the Wash, and it's you.
Ooh, me? Oh yes, me, the random bystander here.
And I'm Scottish.
Oh, I was waiting for us to do a Scottish thing last. All right.
Well, we just lost all our Scottish subscribers.
All right. All 0 of them.
Hey, you don't know anything about what our subscribers are.
True.
Scottish subscribers, I am so sorry. Unsubscribe from Random Bystander here.
And today we are talking about 2013 Pixar's Brother Bear.
Yeah, damn it, I was going to make that joke.
I wrote that down just so I
Both of us beat Random to a joke.
Oh, damn it. Oh.
We're talking about Brave.
Yeah, it's brave.
It is. Well, it's brave.
It's brave. So, as usual, we will start with our experiences first watching the film.
Mm-hmm.
So, I remember this came out like... I want to say it came out around the summer after we graduated.
Yes, it did. 2013.
It did. Yeah, it did.
No. This is 2012. Oh my God, what have I done? Yeah, this is the summer after we graduated. No, I've been saying 2013. I've got it all wrong. My bad.
It's all right. So either way, it came out the summer after we graduated, and we were wanting to all see a Pixar movie again, like we did with Cars 2, The Fond Memories. And I couldn't go because of some
probably girlfriend.
Yeah, I think it was because my girlfriend at the time was like, either we had something planned or she thought seeing Pixar films was childish. And if that's the case, how dare you? But it probably wasn't. I think we just had some plans and I just couldn't see it that day. Mm. And so I didn't see it until like years later, or maybe a year later. I don't remember. But I remember just seeing with you, Wash. We were hanging out, just us on our own, no Kirby fan to help us out. So of course we were lost. And then at one point, I don't know who had the idea of like, you haven't seen Brave, have you? I'm like, no, I haven't. And then we decided to watch it. I remember I'm not sure. I remember you either made me or really, really wanted me to see the short first. Because the short for this was incredible.
I will talk about that.
Then I saw Brave and I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was terrible, but I also didn't think it was as good as the previous Pixar films. But
the previous one being Cars 2?
I mean, I thought it was better than... Of course I thought it was better than Cars 2. I think everything except for maybe A Good Dinosaur is better than Cars 2.
Whoa.
But that we're not talking about that. But yeah, I just remember watching it, and then I watched it again with you guys sometime later.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And then I didn't like it as much, but I still liked it more than Cars 2. It's always been an okay film for me. Mm. And, well, has that changed? We'll find out.
Well, I had much the same experience. Well, I'll first start that, yes, Kirbyfan and I, basing off the new tradition of watching a Pixar film together, Kirbyfan and I, we went to the theaters to see Brave. Before Brave, though, there was a Pixar short called La Luna, which was gorgeous, beautiful.
That's what it was called.
Yeah.
Yes.
Incredible.
And I remember from my side at least, I remember like after we finished, like we had thought like the movie was great, or at least very good. And then a lot of times passed, and I guess what's been happening each time I rewatch this film is that while I'm watching it, I'm enjoying myself. But when I finish, it's something hollow. Something is missing. And it's been hard for me to place my finger as to why. I now know why, and I will... spoilers. And I will talk about what that emptiness was. And yeah, that was my experience. Kirbyfan, what would yours?
Very similar to Wash. We saw this together. I remember when La Luna ended. I don't remember if I went to him or he went to me, but we commented about how now we were actually worried about the film being good or not because this thing happened with Cars 2. We loved the short, and then the movie happened. So I remember that. I do remember liking Brave when I saw it. I remember thinking it was very good. Brave, for some reason, I don't know why, but Brave was one of the very few movies we actually bothered watching for our first take of the Pixarspective. I remember giving it a watch. I don't remember if it was our first go at it or our second go. I don't remember, but we watched it, and then, we started talking about it, and I remember you two not all being all that into it, but I remember actually gaining a very big appreciation for the movie. There were a lot of things about it that I really liked that overshadowed what I didn't like. And then I did not watch it until today, where I found out whether or not that opinion holds true.
Ooh. Dun dun dun! Who wants to do a plot summary? Because I don't feel like it. I have a quote, but I need to find it.
Oh, I was gonna say what Random just said made me think of a story where before this movie came out, we read the plot summary for this, the synopsis, and Random said, "Your mom's so hair, she turned into a bear."
I remember.
Why do you remember that? And more importantly, why do I remember that?
The reason we remember that is because we were doing that thing where whenever there was a funny inside joke, I would write it down on an index card and pin it on my bulletin board.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why you wrote that.
I don't know why either. I guess we just really appreciated it, and I just stuck it on there.
The power of rhyming. And there's one thing I want to mention about this movie. If there's anything I remember most about this movie is that I was just online one day in the good old days of Messenger, and you sent me the teaser for this, and ooh, did the teaser make me hyped for this movie.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I think it made all of us just really hyped.
Especially after the disappointment of Cars 2, we were all worried, is this Pixar's first flop? Is this going to go downhill from here? And then we saw the trailer like, nah, they're fine. They are fine. And then we saw it again.
Okay, I can't find the quote that I want. This is going to have to be something you add in post-watch. It's when King Fergus and Queen Eleanor, when Eleanor is very early on in the movie, when Fergus tells her to talk to him like he's Merida.
I don't want to get married. I want to stay single and let my hair flow in the wind as I ride through the glen, firing arrows into the sunset.
That's my plot summary.
All right. I wish I remembered that.
Yeah,
but
I can't
don't
remember the exact quote. It makes me sad.
Hold on, I'm pretty sure I could find it, but I don't really want to.
Yeah, there's definitely transcripts for it somewhere. But the very basic is that you have a teen princess, Merida, who has not a great relationship with her mother, who's very old-fashioned, restrictive, wants the best for her, but does so with a lot of controlling. And Merida wants to have a free life and enjoy the nature and shoot arrows on top of horses. Then there's a thing about like the other clans trying to get suitors for Merida, but Merida isn't ready for it. And through a series of events, Merida and Eleanor, the mother, have a huge argument. And Merida goes off into the woods, finds a witch, and asks for a spell to change her mother. Without ever saying, change my mother's mind or anything like that, change my mother. And then wouldn't you know it, this witch specializes in bears. And her mom turns into a bear. And also there's an evil bear somewhere in that film.
Yes. MORDU!
MORDU! Okay, first thing first, we already mentioned him. I really love Fergus.
Is that the dad? Yeah, I love the dad.
The last thing we did together was the Toy Story 4 episode, and we were talking about Pixar dads. I'm really sad I forgot about Fergus.
Yeah, he's a great Pixar dad.
I really liked Fergus.
I remember all of us said he was our favorite last time we talked about this.
Yeah,
and that did not change. Yeah.
I don't remember that, but that does sound a lot like us.
Yeah. Because he was just
I like his energy. He's
Yeah.
he's always loud, but he's never obnoxious. He's always just his actor just does such a good job of hamming up every single line.
Bill Connolly, he does a great job with this.
Not to mention, he actually like encourages Merida to be herself more. And
Yeah. And this, of course, it creates even more conflict between Merida and Eleanor because it's like go ask your mother sort of energy.
Yeah. Like, he's king, but you know who is really responsible.
Yeah, we know who the responsible one in this. And,
he tries to be, like, funny. No, he tries to be funny. He is funny. He tries to be, like, the king and in charge, but, like, there's one point where they're, like, all the other clans are in a fight.
He just joins in.
Yeah, he literally... No, he starts... He's like, let's stop this, and then I think the 3 kids start more fighting, which we'll get to them. Yeah. And then he just winds up joining in, and then...
there was like zero provocation, too. Like, as soon as the fight started again, he just jumped in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, he was doing pretty good for himself, too.
Yeah. And then the only reason it breaks up is because the queen doesn't just stands and walks towards the clan leaders, pinches them all by the ear, and just makes them stop. My dog, stop barking!
There were also dogs in Brave.
There were also dogs in Brave. Yeah,
they didn't
I like
really
those
have
dogs.
much. Yeah, they were normal dogs.
You know what's something I really liked about this movie that I kind of noticed that I liked it right away, but it was only when I started thinking about other Pixar films that I really appreciated it.
The animals weren't like dogs.
The animals looked real. You looked at their eyes and they weren't like the humans. They had animal eyes. They had animal attributes. They acted like an animal would act.
They added like an animal that's just a little bit smarter, especially the horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm happy the horse was a horse.
Yes.
Yeah, it was actually a horse. It was... Yeah, you're right. It was a little smarter, but it wasn't making, sassy faces or bobbing its head back and forth.
Or acting like a dog.
Or acting like a dog. Yeah, it wasn't
absolutely.
doing any of those things. It wasn't
Bullseye, and it wasn't the Tangled horse.
Which I think Tangle came... When did Tangle come out?
I might have been around the same time. But
it was
I don't
before
have the
Brave,
date in
I'm
front of
pretty
me.
sure, but...
I remember it coming out in like 2010s.
Oh, yeah, Tangled was 2010. November 2010.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they could have done
in that
it.
period of time when Tangled was the big thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway. We talk... Yes. And another thing I like about Fergus is that he is a goofball, and he's just... ball of energy, but he's serious when he needs to be, and he's a damn good hunter too. Because
he's not just a comedy relief. There's layers to this character.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
lots
absolutely.
of layers,
and especially like the moment like a family member is in danger, all bets are off. It's just a switch in him, and it doesn't feel like a breaking character either. It still feels like him, but he just loves his family so much that he has to protect them.
Yes,
that's fantastic. From the very first scene when he like entered in, I had to write down Fergus is a cool dad.
Yeah, he got his kid a bow and arrow, despite like his wife not even approving of it, and he's just like, I don't care.
He knew she'd like it.
I don't care. Slap.
Yeah, I like that their marriage is like a real marriage where they're still flirty with each other.
I like when all the bachelors are trying to do archery and him and Merida are just talking about how bad they are at archery.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
It's such a father-daughter thing, and it works.
It's so great.
It kind of...
Willam.
We're talking about how funny he is, and I know Random kind of brought this up before, but a really powerful moment was when Fergus thought that Eleanor had died, that the bear had killed her. Yeah. And he locks Merida in the room, and he says, I lost my wife, but I'm not even going to risk losing you. And he locks her in the door, or in the room.
Yeah. And like that makes sense that like he was just trying to protect her through any means necessary because there's a goddamn bear and they have some history with bears.
Yes. When we don't talk about the main character first, instead.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. We started talking about Fergus, and almost right away I realized Merida was the main character.
Yeah, Merida.
Did that bode poorly on the film or on us?
Maybe a bit of
Here's
both.
my point, and I think the two of you are gonna have an oh my god moment when you realize this. We talked about Lightning McQueen before we talked about anything else. We did not talk about Merida before anything else.
I guess because we had mentioned Fergus and we just like, hey, let's talk about him real quick. I guess,
Maybe.
and then it ended
real
up
quick
taking
wound up being a
longer.
while.
We ended up
I don't
talking
know.
for a while. What do we think on Merida?
Well, okay, that's not fair. She has her ups and downs. She tries to be like fearless, and she like tries to like she wants to be independent. She doesn't want to be involved with royalty. Mm-hmm. She wants to go live her own life, be herself, and just kick butt with a bow and arrow.
Okay.
But other times, her young youth shows, and she does a lot of complaining.
A lot of mom.
Yeah, which
at first I was a little bit into, because I liked the idea of a film set in the historical times, but teenagers still act like teenagers, because of course they would. And like the triplets who pull pranks on their dads and such. It's like, obviously they would still have pranks back in the Highlands. It wore on me.
I'll say at least this, unlike a character like Lightning or Remy, I do want to like her.
Yeah.
So it makes things like the ending shine a little bit more compared to something like the ending of Ratatouille and Cars were great, but you look at Lightning in the ending of Cars and you look at Remy in the end of Ratatouille, it might go a little finicky. But I think at least here, I wanted to like her enough to the point where when the ending did come around, it felt, for the character, it felt good. It's leading up to the ending that...
Yeah.
We'll get to the ending, because I do have some notes on that ending.
I will say I give Pixar credit for like finally is it like a actual first female protagonist?
The first female protagonist in the Pixar film is also the first female director, Brenda Chapman, who was the director for The Prince of Egypt, which I haven't seen in a while, but I remember really enjoying. And of course, quite famously, she got booted off her own film because of, quote, creative differences with an unnamed director. And the directing had got passed along to Mark Andrews. He was part of Brad Bird's crew for The Iron Giant, and then he moved over to Pixar for The Incredibles. He did the opening for Toy Story 3, and he's the guy you go to when you want to make some dazzling action. And I will give some credit that there's some really good sort of like animated sequences. Some good like visual sequences in this. In terms of the character, she is fine. The big problem is that this film feels like it has two directors. That there was a beginning idea, and then they had to try to like mangle something and get it out the door.
Yeah.
Especially the connection between the mother-daughter relationship and the bear stuff.
Yeah.
Some of it worked. Most of it did not.
I mean, there were some points I liked. I liked actually like when they were in the wilderness and they actually had to train the mother to like learn how to get fish. That was a nice little moment. There were I'm trying to figure out what other highlights of the film. There was one scene where it's basically just kind of a montage, but kind of not, in the beginning of the film, where Merida is just exploring Scotland and climbing mountains and drinking water from a thing.
From the falls. I can't remember what the
From the falls.
Yeah, I can't remember what the falls
Yeah.
were called, but they're like mythical. They're like legendary falls.
Yes, and she just that was cool.
Yeah, especially with the music, the swelling music playing underneath.
I just will say again, not surprised with Pixar, but visuals gorgeous. Scotland looks gorgeous.
I love the character design of Merida.
My god,
Her
her
design's
hair.
real. I remember
Her hair.
Yeah, the hair. That's what I remember freaking out about the most.
Cause that was huge at the time. Like all that hair, curly hair. Some of the moments that I liked in the beginning, when they're setting up for the big event with all the clans coming back, Eleanor constricts Merida in a corset in this like really tight dress, this constrictive dress, and obviously it's a metaphor of the mother like constricting Merida herself. And there's like a little tiny bit of orange hair coming out of her. I don't know what that thing is called. I'm gonna call it a hat, even though it's not a hat. It's the headwear. Like a little further into the scene, Eleanor fixes that hair, that little cowlick that's coming out, but like at a little later on, she flicks it back out as a show of protest because the hair is a metaphor of her independence, of her rebellion, and it's cool. That's neat.
Yeah.
That side of Merida, it really is just the whining that I don't like. The rebellious side of her, I think is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, the rebellious side of her is awesome. That scene where she decides to like compete for herself is so cool.
Yeah, she's just walking, taking out the bow. She's just firing the bow. Doesn't even care.
The third bow especially, where you get to see like what a bow means to her, where she's just
God,
and she
that
just
scene, just the way it was
breathes out and just lets
the way
go.
that scene was directed. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a great scene.
And then like right after she lets go of that bow, she turns over and she's right in the face with the mother. I'm not sure if we'll ever know, but I have a feeling that like stuff like that was something that they've had on paper for a while. Those sort of sequences, and then they had to figure out the bear stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is the bear stuff wasn't grafted in. The original title for this was going to be The Bear and the Bow. This was thought of as a fairy tale from the start. I saw an article that said it's Pixar's first fairy tale, and that's only if you don't count Cars.
Lightning McQueen is a fairy tale.
Good chair.
A lot of the best scenes were when Merida and Eleanor, not when one was whining at the other, but when they were trying to understand who the other one was.
Yeah.
Like when Eleanor was talking to Fergus about stuff that happens, and when Merida is with the horse, just venting to air, and it's going back and forth between Merida saying, "Why can't you understand?" and Eleanor saying, "Why can't you understand?" And at the end, they both say, "If only you would just listen."
Oh my god, I forgot about that scene. That's a good scene.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my.
That
favorite
was
parts
very
of the whole
well
movie.
edited.
It was just one of my favorite. Yeah, it was probably. I don't know. I'd have to think about what my specific favorite part was, but that just really to me was always, even when I first saw it, was just the part of the movie that just really solidified for me that the best parts of this movie just have to do with the conflict between Eleanor and Merida.
Yes.
These are two characters that have very different beliefs, but they care about each other. They love each other. They want to make the other happy. It's just Merida doesn't want her life to be ruined, constricted by marriage, and Eleanor just wants what's best for her, things that she never got when she was Merida's age.
Yeah, I like that. I like that part of Eleanor.
I will add, not just best for her, but best for her kingdom as well, because a lot of things. In fact, what really evaluates like Merida's whining for me is the fact that she's just like, "Oh, I don't want to do it," and she's like, "This is for the country. We could all go to war if this doesn't happen."
Like Merida at one point during her rant with the horse, she was saying like, "Why don't we just say no, thank you? We'll expect your declarations of war in the morning." Like she knows this.
That's the problem with having your main character be teenage. You could say that was emotional teenage girl, but I really just say emotional teenage person.
Yeah,
it's not good. I'm just saying that's that's the issue with having your character be that age and your character acting that age.
But that's the thing. You can absolutely have a teenage character that is not annoying. Annoying it feels too mean. I can't really think of a better word for it, but it's just like
ignorant. That sounds worse.
That does sound worse.
I mean, when what I'm saying is that when you're emotionally wound up like that, you say things even if you don't mean them. You know.
Yeah, that is
that's
true.
She's so angry and so emotional. Yeah. That's why she says it, and she learns later in the film. You know, the real importance of diplomacy, which is nice.
Yeah.
But
she even
at that point in the film, she's just angry and emotional.
Yeah,
she's not like she actually means it.
And that happens with Eleanor too. Like after the bow and arrow scene, for example, there's a whole thing where they like try and talk to each other, and it just escalates and escalates. She rips the tapestry, and then Eleanor takes her bow and throws it in the fire, and then she just runs off crying. And then
Eleanor turns around, sees the bow in the fireplace, and immediately takes it out, weeping, saying, "What have I done?"
Yeah, that's an example of both of them letting their emotions get the best of them.
Even Eleanor, the composed mother queen, she can let her emotions get to her too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that could have been, I don't know, I feel like there's some, if only there was a better way of connecting between the Eleanor at the start of the film and Eleanor at the end without the really convoluted bear adventure.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there would have been a way, but nah.
I think Eleanor becoming a bear was fine. I just think the whole four brothers thing, and the one wants the strength of 10 men and he becomes a bear, and that's the bear that was hunting them in the beginning, and it's a legend, and the bear comes back and he's alive.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That whole thing was meddled. I think bears having a problem with the family throughout their history, and Eleanor becoming a bear, I don't really think any of that is too problematic. It's mostly when when you go outside of that, that's when a lot of the film's really big problems start to be more.
I mean, I get it. They want to establish some lore in this place. I mean, it's a fantasy world in Scotland. You should have some lore, but it just comes out left field when all of a sudden, oh, MORDU is the prince.
Yeah, and the whole thing with the legend of the four brothers, that's all fine. That ties into Merida later in the film talking with the other kingdoms.
Yeah.
So that part comes together. It's the bear.
Yeah.
You didn't need that bear because early on in the movie, a bear almost killed Fergus's wife and daughter. That's perfect enough of a reason for the family to hate bears.
Yes.
Or at least Fergus, because Fergus is the one here who really hates the bears. That's all the reasoning you need.
That specific bear, though.
Yeah, it has to bring that specific bear back. It couldn't just be that bears are wild animals in nature that can attack people.
It's not MORDU.
They had to make it complicated.
It's not MORDU.
MORDU.
MORDU, yeah. The huge thing with this is I was watching through and I was like, boy, this has some pacing problems.
Oh, especially a lot of pacing problems, yeah.
This becomes a spoilers for a future film, a good dinosaur problem, where there's a big issue with balancing and switching between light moments and dark moments.
Oh,
come on, Merida!
Like the one that I really that really was like, oh wow, that's not right. Was in the ending. I know we want to save it, but the clan is around the mother as a bear, and Merida protects her, fights against her own dad, and then the triplets who had eaten the cursed cake, and they come by, and Merida said, "Boys, stop it!" And Fergus said, "Boys," and bam, MORDU is back.
He just shows up randomly too. No one notices the 12.
He just shows up, and
no one notices the 12-foot bear in the room.
He just stomped right in to let himself know.
Hey guys, I heard the movie was ending. I wanted to make one more scene.
Yeah, that was so grafted in. That felt really bad. I think they just had a trouble with trying to figure out figure out that stuff. I know the original intro for this was gonna be that we just see Fergus himself. You don't see the rest of the family fighting against Mordu, and then it goes to the title screen, and then they changed it up to because where the hell is the protagonist in this?
Yeah, I kind of like they changed that, at least because I like the opening, so I'm glad they changed that. But
I like the opening. It did.
The mood whiplash was a little much.
I did write that down. Yes.
Wait, for the opening, you mean?
Yeah, in the opening.
Yeah, Mordu
everything's
just
happy, everything's nice, and then there's a bear.
Yeah, I will say Mordu has a very strange habit of just popping up and just being like, "Hello, I'm the plot."
I'm the plot, and like my face, I'm complicated.
Also, one thing I noticed is that when they when Eleanor tells the story of the four kings and it shows like a visual representation of it, there's the four brothers and there's three normal ones and there's this one giant dude with a black cloak.
I paused the movie, wrote on my notes, geez, I wonder which one's the bad guy. And then 2 seconds later, one of them was bad. I was like, wait a minute, I was joking
with the bear.
I was just making a funny. I didn't actually
think
the movie had to spell it out for me.
Is the huge muscular guy with angry eyes the evil one?
I kind of hope that maybe one of the skinny guys was, but no.
That would be a twist.
That would have been funny.
It almost seemed like do you remember at the very end when they kill Mordu and then the ghost comes out and he like nods his head like thank you for lifting me from my curse by killing me.
Thank you for releasing me.
And then that was it. Like, how
I get that, Kirby fan.
Thank you, Random.
Was Mordu remorseful about what he had done? Is that what they were going for?
Could he not control himself anymore? Because
what I got from that was just that, you know, that they comically, by the way, they dropped an anvil on him.
Yeah.
But
They did.
the way that I saw it was that now that his soul had departed from his body, he was at peace. Which is really not what you follow up dropping an anvil on somebody with.
Yeah. I will
like shoving someone against said anvil. Yes.
That would be like in Roger Rabbit, where you found out how what's the main character's name?
Roger.
Roger.
No, not Roger Rabbit.
Oh, I know you're the detective, but I
the detective. When you find out that his brother died, they say they dropped an anvil on him. That would be like in Roger Rabbit if they said that and they were serious about it.
I mean, they were, but not.
Yeah, but the fun of Roger Rabbit is that they were, but they also weren't. Here, they just flat out were.
Yeah, I took it similarly. Only thing is, just like how Merida lost who she was as a bear, I pictured it as Mordu losing control of who he was when he asked for the strength of 10 men and just became a bear. And that when he died, he finally was like, I'm free from being a bear. Which is still complicated and ruined by the anvil.
He became one of the wisps, which I really didn't get.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That just implied the witch killed so many people.
Can we talk about the witch?
I don't know how I feel about the witch.
I thought she was hilarious. I thought she was like the one. I thought she was the one character in the movie who was consistently really funny.
Oh, I thought you said the wisp.
That's what Mordu became at the end, and then somehow the witch got bought up. And
I said because that implies that all the victims of the witch are will o' the wisps.
That's God, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I am. That's what I thought of.
Yeah, speaking of which, that was very much a Aladdin genie kind of character.
Yeah, that's what I thought of. Like they were trying to do Robin Williams with this character. And
like a ton of anachronisms. That was where like all the Pixar Easter eggs were, like the Pizza Planet and the Monsters University symbol.
They also had. Remember how I said there was a character in Brave that was voiced by that one guy who was the creator of Sam and Max?
Steve Purcell.
Yeah, that was the Crow.
That was the Crow. Yep.
Yeah.
That was the Crow.
I looked it up earlier. I was like, I wonder who. Ooh, the Crow. When is there a crow in Bird? And where was the Crow in Brave? And I was like, and then I saw him. I was like, oh.
And you know what? Also, like when the credits came up, I saw co-directed by Steve Purcell, and I was like, what?
That explains a lot. That explains the witch in general, and the humor for the movie, for that matter.
Yeah.
Which is hit and miss.
hit
the
and
humor's
miss.
hit and miss. There's stuff like The Witch that I thought was really funny. There's stuff like the triplets that I didn't think were funny at all.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Witch, I don't know how I felt about her, because, yeah, she was funny, and I was engaged with the scenes she was in, but at the same time, she's only in the movie for, like, 2 scenes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the disappointing part.
Yeah. And
I like the idea that there's a witch who has done so many spells and made so many people upset that she just gives up. She has too many dissatisfied customers, as she
I like
puts it.
that. I do like that as well. Yeah.
I kind of wish, they delved on it more, and I had a feeling that they would have if they went with Brenda Chapman.
There is an actual legitimate plot point in this movie that the only person that can really explain what the solution to the problem is went to a convention, so she's not around to give them the answer.
Pretty much.
It was like an anime convention.
Yeah, it was the Woodcarvers Convention. Woodcarvers Expo, that's what it's called.
Totally some kooky old witch that hides out in the forest that doesn't want to do witch work anymore. Of course she'd open up a wood shop.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, of course you'd be into anime.
I mean, that too. But yeah, she just like, and she hides it. She's like, I'm a woodcarver. I'm not a witch.
I'm a whittler of wood.
She's really trying her hardest to hide that she's a witch.
And then at one point she's like, you're not buying anything? and
just out of nowhere, she just points a bunch of axes at her.
And the funny thing, and again, what adds to the humor of this scene is that Merida says she'll buy everything, and then the weapons turn to the witch.
Yeah, even the weapons know there's money to be had here. What you're saying about her is totally valid, Random, but I'm gonna pull a wash quote in this situation. She made me laugh, therefore I thought she was funny.
Okay,
yeah,
you know what?
She made me laugh, therefore she's valid.
This is why I don't do my rankings, because I always figure out, oh yeah, you're right, and I feel better. So I kind of agree with you after actually talking about her more now. She's like, wait, she actually was...
I think it becomes more of an issue with, like you said, like she just doesn't have enough of a presence. And it just becomes an issue in terms of the story.
Yeah,
it just doesn't know how to handle all these parts.
And even then, in her 2 scenes, she's just an answering machine in one scene. Although very interactive. And they do have fun with that, with like, welcome to the
I forget what it's called, but I do remember, like, she said the mend the bond, the torn by pride, and she waits, and while Merida said, what does that mean? And she said, one more time.
yeah.
That felt like Sam and Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who voiced the witch, I wonder?
I gotta find that out. I was gonna look that up and I forgot, but I thought that was another great thing about her was her voice.
Yeah, I don't picture the character being voiced by anybody else. Julie Walters.
Julie Walters?
Oh, she was in Mamma Mia, Billy Elliot, Harry Potter as she was Molly Weasley. Oh my god.
So she was the mother.
Oh, shoot. That's why I like her.
Aww.
She was also in Mary Poppins.
Welcome to the Julie Walters podcast.
I'm Julie Walters fan.
She's a lot of British things. Either way.
So I bought them up before. What did you guys think of the triplets?
Nah.
They didn't really do anything for me.
I hated them. Every
hate
second
that
they were on screen, I hated them.
It wouldn't be so bad, even at the end. Like, in the beginning, Merida states that they'll get away with murder. It wouldn't be so bad if at the end they actually got their comeuppance with something.
No, and they don't.
Like, that would... They don't. And they help out.
Why did they even have to be turned into bears to begin with?
They didn't. They're just as annoying without being bears. And they could have
there's no added stakes with them being bears, because when Eleanor gets turned back into a human, the kids are they're human too.
Yeah. And do you remember
nothing about mending bonds or anything? It's just they're back.
Do you remember that very serious moment where the mother, like the sun was rising again, and you can see in the mother's eyes that she was turning back into a bear on the inside, and then it cuts to the triplets who are just regular kids but in bear costumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like tension.
Gone.
Oh, good thing. Good thing we don't gotta worry about that anymore.
Yeah. Just.
Nah.
It's stuff like that really bothers me with a movie like this. When you have this thing that really works and it's getting the emotion you want to convey, and then
You have the characters that we haven't mentioned in a while in this podcast, the minions. Those sorts of comedic.
Comedic in most air quotes.
Speaking of the triplets, oh my god, the screaming maid.
Yes,
Oh,
I was gonna
God.
mention that.
Oh my
Especially
God, that
the
character.
conclusion of that. Like, good lord, that was.
Yeah, last time we see her, we get real close to her.
Yeah, and it was it was embarrassing. If it didn't, it felt really bad watching this film because it was like there's so much potential in this, and then they do crap like that.
One thing that I did like, we haven't brought up Eleanor very much. We brought her up when talking about Merida, but one of the great things about the movie really is just this.
Eleanor.
The strength of the movie is the mother-daughter relationship, and when you talk about Merida, you just kind of naturally bring up Eleanor, and when you bring up Eleanor, you naturally bring up Merida because
Yes.
and that's just a strength of the movie. And then you get out of those two, and it's just what's left that's good.
Fergus.
I like the witch. I like Fergus. I thought obviously the animation is breathtaking, and Merida's hair was innovative, but the castle I thought was fine, whatever, and the Kingdom of Scotland I thought looked pretty, but the visual design of the forest I thought that was great.
Oh, it was
The forest is such a cool place for a setting.
Oh my god!
Anything can happen in a forest. It's so cool.
Especially that Stonehenge-like area.
Yeah. It didn't like it didn't. It was just kind of there, but it was cool.
I mean, I will say the one good thing about the end was seeing like the sun go down and it reflect upon the stones the time of like how much time there is really left of how it was like, counting down.
Yeah, that was cool. Creative.
Yeah, that was cool. It was the sun has risen, but by the time the sun had gotten to her, they had repaired the bond.
Yes.
Yeah, and it literally shines on the tapestry, and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's some good.
Yeah,
That's some good stuff. And then you see the bare naked asses of the triplets.
And then Oh my god, that scene earlier on in the movie when they get all the dads and everybody get locked out and they get oh my god.
Oh god.
I actually had to turn away from the screen at that point.
That sounds like a bad Sam and Max joke.
I mean, does it?
I don't think so. I don't think we know enough Sam and Max.
Like it feels like
bad comedy. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. A Sam and Max joke would be the witch isn't around and she has an answering machine that is a bunch of different vials. That's a Sam and Max joke.
Yes.
I said a bad one. A bad Sam and Max joke.
Well, that's the thing. There are no bad Sam and Max jokes. Okay, I take that back. But that was mostly a joke. But still, I don't really think butts are a Sam and Max joke.
Yeah, it's just crude humor. But speaking of the Scottish clan, we didn't really talk about the clans or the suitors. And I liked them more in this movie than I did in the past, but not much.
Okay, so there were two things that made me laugh. It was actually the same clan. The first thing that made me laugh was when the old guy was hyping up his kid. Merida was kind of getting interested, and then it just turns out that the big buff guy was just there standing in front of his actual kid. That was a SpongeBob joke.
Yeah, that was a SpongeBob. It was.
The big guy carrying the real contestants.
Patrick Star!
I mean, that just made me laugh because SpongeBob joke and SpongeBob's funny. But the part that it did kind of get a chuckle out of me was when, he was hyping up his kid and his kid's just standing there dazed. He has no idea what's going on. People start making fun of him. And then, he just he tells his kid to just go after him. And the kid actually dives forward and just bites this guy's leg.
And that's how the fight
Wait a minute,
starts.
this dope of a kid, could he actually do stuff?
Yeah.
And I thought that was funny, but it's like it's a lot like what Random was saying about the witch. The problem with the suitors is really just that they're not explored enough. There's comedic potential to be had with all three of them. Well, two of the three maybe. The one that you couldn't understand, that joke got old fast. But the other two,
that joke was done better in Hot Fuzz.
It was.
I feel like the other two, the one who's overly confident in himself and throws temper tantrums when he loses. Like there are jokes to be had here, but they don't they're not there enough.
Yeah.
And like the one with the accent too thick to understand, like there's some potential of him being like really, he's really like large and strong, but you can see that in his eyes he's kind of like meek, and there's some potential with that. But instead, his whole shtick is that he has an extremely thick accent. And again, this joke was done better, and it had a better payoff in Half Farce.
I feel like you could say that about a lot of the aspects of this movie, is that everything that it really did was done a lot better in better movies.
Yeah.
Maybe even turning into a bear was done better.
Okay, you know what? Since you're the Disney expert, how did this compare to Brother Bear? Because I have not. Have you seen Brother Bear?
I have, but it's been a long time. It's still regarded as one of the Disney, not the bleak period of Black Cauldron Disney, but also like for when Pixar was having the golden age of Disney in the 2000s, Disney was having another bleak age in the 2000s.
Yeah, that was when we were getting stuff like Home on the Range.
That Home on the Range is when it just straight up died.
Yes.
And then it came back in 2009 with Princess and the Frog, and then they decided computer animation.
Yeah.
No, actually they just started computer animation, but bad computer animation, like Chicken Little.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a while before we got stuff like Tangled.
Yeah, and even then, Brother Bear was all right. It had some good things about it. It had like it put a more focus on the bear situation. Like first off, the bears, the main character turned into a bear, so you got to explore that and how he like affected that. And there was no mother-daughter relationship, but there was basically a brother relationship between the bears, because hence called Brother Bear. And that bond was great, but I felt this movie did the bond better. I felt some side characters were done better. I feel the villain definitely was better in Brother Bear. Because well, first off, there's no much competition with MORDU. Because he's just ferocious and shows up randomly. That's his shtick. And he's strong and can't get killed.
I wish he was used to the comedic effect that we're using him for.
Yeah.
Because this character, the way he was treated, had the potential to be really funny.
Yeah. But in Brother Bear, the villain was one of their like the guy who turns to a bear, the villain, and a mentor were all a group of friends, and the mentor was killed by a bear. And so the villain, at one point, he thinks his other friend was killed by a bear, the bear that the main character turns into. So he has to, the reason he's out for vengeance against the main character is because he thinks he's the bear that killed his friend.
That reminds me a lot of the Fergus situation in this movie, actually.
Yeah. So this villain's done a lot better because you could see where he's coming from by a long shot. So instead of he's not a villain, but he's more of a it's more of a misunderstanding / he needs to like have vengeance for his friend and make sure no one else gets hurt.
Yeah. It's weird that maybe Pixar actually should have taken notes from Brother Bear.
Yeah. It's not that bad as people. I mean, it's not great, but it's not that bad.
Okay.
Home on the Range is way worse.
Well, I think even then people agree on that point.
Yeah. But we're not talking about Brother Bear, even though that's an obvious comparison. Is there anything
I
else
wish this whole podcast could have just been about the mother-daughter relationship. I really wish.
Honestly, that's the strength of this movie, without a doubt. It's the mother and daughter relationship.
And
Fergus.
They had something there, and then I guess they just couldn't figure out how to gain conflict out of that.
It's so rare seeing a mother-daughter relationship where both sides you can empathize with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it what makes the film better than a lot of Pixar films that came out in this decade, but it still has a lot of problems.
Forget about Good Dinosaur. I can't wait.
I'm going to point out one negative about specifically about the mother-daughter relationship. After the mother becomes a bear, they return back to the castle, and the mother is trying to sneak past, but also she is signing to Merida about like breaking tradition, and all I could think of is like this. There is not enough to back this up. This change from you have to stay by tradition to let's break all tradition.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just did not find the through line though. It just kind of came like they had some bonding stuff when they were doing some fishing, and then they got distracted with the MORDU stuff, and then they came back, and then the mother is suddenly okay. It didn't feel like there was enough weight in this.
Not to get into too much detail about it, but that sounds a lot like what my complaint with Toy Story 4 was. Again, not going to get into the specifics because when this episode comes out, it's still going to be pretty new. But that kind of sounds like it. So I see where you're coming from. And I agree.
Thank you. Yeah, this rewatch has gotten me thinking about these stuff.
I thought the scene itself got a chuckle out of me. Mostly just in the way that Eleanor had to react to the guard catching on that she might be alive. There's kind of a lot of improvisation between the two in that scene. So the scene itself, I thought was actually really good, but the problem, you can't look at a movie just scene. Everything has to flow.
Everything had to flow, absolutely. In context, and this flops. Not flop, but this falters.
Out of context, it's hilarious, but that's why context exists.
That's why context exists, absolutely. Yeah, and I especially like we were mentioning the guard. I just want to point it out because I just find it really funny with as a form of distraction to get that guard off of the mother. Merida says, "Hey everybody, let's go get some beer in Dad's cellar," and Fergus is just like, "Get the really tiny glasses."
Yes. Another reason why Fergus is awesome in both comedic and dramatic. I wish part of me wishes the movie was about him, but also I love that mother-daughter relationship. So it's just
this might be too ambitious of a story for a movie that went through 3 directors, but I wouldn't have minded if this was a mother-daughter-father kind of movie.
Yeah, that's a good point. One of the reasons behind this issue is because Merida just connects a lot more with the father. When Merida was a child, she loved her mother, like genuinely wholly. And as she grew up and became older, she became more rebellious, and they just no longer saw eye to eye. But Merida saw eye to eye to her inspiration, the one who gave her the bow and presumably taught her everything she knows about this, Fergus. And there could be, like you said, there could be a lot of potential with that.
I will give them credit for not going the Disney dad route and just killing him off.
Yeah.
Because they could have easily done that.
This was actually a family. To both parents, children, regrettably.
I kind of wish that if the twins weren't there, other than a few action scenes, they would have been fine.
You could write the movie without them, but at least they did stuff. But I don't know, this is just kind of reminding me of, sorry, random, but this is reminding me of Russell and Up, where it's like he did stuff, but it still really didn't jive with me. Russell's better. Russell's better,
you.
Don't worry.
Thank you. I was about to say, you better say those words.
I mean, the triplets are among my least favorite Pixar characters. I just really did not like them.
Honestly, I forget about them every time until they brought up, like, oh yeah, they're in this movie.
Yeah, I know, which just makes it even more painful.
Like the stuff, that line you said earlier about they get away with murder, like, follow through with that. And like you said, if there was some sort of payback, then turn into a bear is not payback.
No,
then,
it's not.
Then turning naked in front of everybody is not payback, because they would have done that anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I would have traded, like, a younger brother who just has at least a little bit of character development instead of those three triplets. Like, just make it another character. Or not have one at all.
I think this is, like, there's, like, a kind of fundamental flaw with... Maybe not necessarily fundamental, but it just bugs me, like, the premise of this is that in order for them to listen to each other, the mother has to essentially shut up, because she can't talk as a bear. All she can do is like sign to her, and so she's essentially she has to listen to Merida. But like a huge part of the relationship is that they're not listening to each other. I might be floundering with my point here, but do you get what I'm going towards?
Kind of.
Well, that's all I can say.
That's all I can say, I think, is a good transition into the ending.
We kind of talked about it a little bit.
The stupid triplets, stupid MORDU, and, that was really it. But, if you want to talk to the strength of the ending, we haven't really talked about Merida and Eleanor in the ending yet. Or Fergus.
That scene where Merida was defending against Fergus.
Yeah, when she actually was able to combat her father.
Yeah.
She held off Fergus. More than any point in the movie, more at any point, where the movie's telling you, oh, Merida's a free spirit, whatever. More than any point in the movie, that's where I was just thinking to myself, damn, Merida's cool.
Yeah. Merida. That was the Merida we saw in the teaser trailer.
Yeah.
MORDU shows up, he gets dropped by an anvil, yada, yada, yada. And then you actually see, the sun rise. And we actually think, oh, crap, it's too late. And she just quickly runs the tapestry over to her. And you just see Eleanor's eyes just turn animal-like, which you see all throughout the film she temporarily goes through. And you also see her get into bear mode. That's what I'll call it, bear mode, when she's fighting Fergus. So it's not like when she first sees Fergus as a bear, because it's not like Fergus. So Fergus is justified with wanting to save Merida from the bear, because it's not like it's just oh, the bear's defenseless and he's just beating the crap out of her. No, Eleanor attacks her. And him. There's a real point where Meredith believes that she is too late, and mending the tapestry did not work, and her mother is a bear forever. And she actually says she's sorry she didn't listen to you. And she just wishes, and how she wishes she could have done more, and blah, 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 blah. And I know I'm making light of it, but I know I'm rushing it a little bit, but it's still a good scene. I think it's still good.
Question mark?
I don't know. I keep thinking of Beauty and the Beast. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I know.
I didn't even think of Beauty and the Beast.
This is why we got you here.
This is what it made me think of the entire time. And I know it's not. I know it's a different type of relationship. It's not it's not love and love. It's mother and daughter. But that's literally what they did in Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that's literally what they did.
Even with the crying. The only thing that was missing was a tear on the tapestry, and then it would have been and her floating up in the air and just transmorphing from bear to woman. I'm glad they didn't do that, because that would have been bad for Disney and Pixar, but I'm glad it was subtle though. It's told visually that she changed back. With Beauty and the Beast, they made it grand. He's changing from beast to prince, and his clothes still fit.
In this, you see her arm, and that's all you need to know, that things change. They're back to normal.
Yes. And another nice touch I like about that, they use the metaphor of Merida's hair being a free spirit, and all throughout, Eleanor's hair is contained. But once she becomes a bear, once she becomes a bear, and then everything happens, and after she transforms back, her hair remains expressive throughout.
Yeah. And you start to notice that that streak of gray in her hair, and it's there's some character in this hair.
Yeah, we talk about the hair a lot as if it's impressive because it was innovative, and hell yeah, it was innovative. But there's a lot more to the hair in this movie than just how crazy it was that they got it working.
Yes,
they put a lot of time into that hair, and they're gonna make good use out of it. Dang it!
Honestly, yes.
Yeah.
Is there any other notes I missed about the ending? I mean, other than.
Well, it's hard to talk about much beyond MORDU and the triplets. Because the only other thing I can really think of is how the mother ended up fighting against MORDU, and the fight culminates with the mother slamming him into a rock over and over again, and then eventually if
you added some If you add some Ed and Eddie sound effects to it, it would have been hilarious.
It's literally an anvil. Ed and Eddie sound effects, Looney Tunes sound effects, whatever.
It'd be that's the end of the movie, folks.
That's what he should have said when we saw his spirit come out. That's what he should have said. Okay, I have a note, but it's not about the ending. Is that all we wanted to say about the ending?
I can't think of anything else.
It's really hard for me to think of myself. Maybe there's something else. We already made our complaints about it.
So before I get to what I was thinking of, while we're on the ending, one last thing. I enjoyed the post-credit scene. I thought it was cute.
Oh yeah, I
that's
did.
cute.
I kind of stopped watching after that. But it's basically all the wood carvings and
Yeah.
arriving at the castle.
Yeah,
right?
and the crow saying, "Come on, we don't have all day." It's cute. The note that I have in all caps, random. In this movie, they say Fortnite.
That joke only makes sense if you're in our private Discord.
Well, I mean, okay. The joke is that they say Fortnite.
The joke is that they say Fortnite.
Well, the joke on my end, obviously, but random hates Fortnite.
Okay. All
Wait,
right.
he does?
Perfect timing. Timer stopped.
Great.
The note that we ended on is random hates Fortnite.
That's the best way to go.
All right, Fortnite thoughts?
It's better than Good Dinosaur.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Elaborate on that.
All right, yeah.
All right. Let's go. Let's be serious now.
Well, I mean, you started. You said it was better than Good Dinosaur.
Yeah,
you got
you-
it.
Oh,
wait.
You got it. You got it. You started.
Wait.
you got it.
Oh wait. Were you talking about Fortnite or actually Brave?
Welcome to the Fortnite-spective.
I'm.
I will say Brave. If we're being serious, it's better than I remember it. Again, the biggest strength of the movie is mother and daughter, and you can't really have one without the other in this movie. Just something about how those two are together works in this movie. And also Fergus. Fergus is pretty good too. I like him a lot. He's very funny, and there's a lot of great things about this movie in general. Those stuff I wish I named, also the witch, the way Scotland looks, the design of the movie, the music in the movie. We didn't really talk too much about the songs. But they pulled a little Phil Collins thing, comparing it, another reason to compare it to Brother Bear. But it's
I thought you were comparing it to Tarzan.
and Tarzan too. But yeah, there's a lot of great things around this movie, and I always seem to forget the great things whenever I'm done watching it because I always just think, oh, it's just Brave. It's eh. But there is still a lot of great things about this movie that get overlooked because the movie wasn't as good as its other Pixar brethren. So. But it's really not bad. In fact, some people might even like it more than we do. That's my final thoughts. I liked it better than I thought I would. Not my favorite, but still better than I thought I would.
My final thoughts is I had a, not opposite, but a reverse experience. I didn't enjoy this as much as I hoped I would. Because, like I have said, my experience had been that, like, while I'm watching it, I'm enjoying it. And then afterwards, I feel like, oh, there's something missing. This time, it might have been partly because I started to realize the plot issues. But also, it was just hard for me to keep my focus on it for that long. Like, I kept getting distracted with other things while I was watching Brave.
Oh yeah, me too.
Especially, I think it was like around when I want to say it was like around the half-hour mark when like after they have the fight and then they go into the witch stuff and then there's the cake and the bear and like around that stuff. Even though what I just described is like 15 minutes at least. Around that area was when I started to lose my focus. An issue that I didn't get to bring up was that there's a pretense of grandness, but the story doesn't really get as grand. There's not that many locations. Like what could have been a really grand stuff with them going into the cave of MORDU, like they're out of it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of pacing problems for me. And again, if you enjoy this film, then more power to you. Like I want to enjoy this film because there is a lot to enjoy in this. I do like we said, the mother-daughter stuff is fantastic. I love that stuff. Fergus is hysterical, a cool dad. He is the Bowser of Pixar.
Oh my god, he is. Only not evil.
Yeah. And it becomes very frustrating, and especially like once you read up afterwards and you find out that like the kind of trouble that they had getting this through, I get a little bit frustrated. I still have my laughs I still had I still had, there was still some parts where it's like, okay, I'm getting something out of this. And then if flounders in a lot of spots, especially with, like I said, pacing and trying to switch from light moments to dark moments and vice versa. Really could have, they either could have tightened this up better, or maybe this just had too many problems. I'm not sure. I mean, we got what we got, and what we got was good. It was fine. Kirbyfan.
Unfortunately, this did not wind up being the great movie that I was hoping that it would wind up being. There was actually a point where, kind of around where I have movies like WALL-E, Up, Monsters Inc., Cars, that area, there was actually a point where I would put Brave, it was very short, but a point where I would put Brave in that area. Especially rewatching it now, though, it's not that good. A lot that I did really like about it. I do totally agree, unfortunately, with, well, in this case, unfortunately, no offense, with everything that Wash said. It's just the pacing problems, the tonal problems. Some things weren't really given enough time. Some things were given too much time. But it's got the Cars thing where I know it's well, okay. So the Cars thing is, I know it's flawed, but the things that I like about it, I just like so much that, you know, it's among my all-time favorites.
Sure.
Brave, it's got something similar to that, only I think one of the very few you'll hear say this. I think it's more flawed than Cars, and what it does really well, I don't think it does as well as Cars did. So, you know, the thing that really grabbed Cars for me, that really didn't grab for anyone else, did not work again with Brave. I think it's a good movie, and I will say, I hear this a lot. Brave didn't have anything to say. It was just another boring Disney princess movie. Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. I wholeheartedly disagree with that sentiment.
I agree with you.
I wholeheartedly agree with the sentiment that Fergus is best girl, though. And those are my final thoughts.
All right.
Great.
Now it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'm not doing it. All right, ranking.
So this is movie number 13. And so far we've ranked 12. And like I said in the previous episode, this is becoming the 12 Days of Christmas problem, where the list just becomes untenable to list through. But I'll go through it. Our average rankings from the bottom up is Cars 2, A Bug's Life, Ratatouille, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 2, Cars, Toy Story 1, Monsters Incorporated, WALL-E, Up, Finding Nemo, and The Incredibles. And now we are going to put in Brave. For the first time in these rankings, we no longer have the same bottom film.
That's sad. That makes me sad.
Yeah.
A tradition was broken.
So, to the tradition breaker, Kirbyfan, your bottom film is A Bug's Life. Is Brave better than A Bug's Life?
All right, so Merida annoyed me. Not nearly to the extent that Flick did. I just want to drop that because I don't think I've even mentioned A Bug's Life this time, and quote unquote, I have a quota to fill.
Yes.
I did like Brave more than I liked A Bug's Life.
Okay. Random and I, we both have Cars 2 on the bottom. I will say, absolutely, I think this is a lot better than Cars 2. For the very simple reason that I actually laughed. Random.
I will say it's better than Cars 2 just simply for the fact that I enjoyed watching it. It didn't make me go, when is this over? At any point.
That's very fair. Yeah, that is very fair.
If there's any point where I excessively feel when it's over, that's when it's worse than Cars 2.
I wonder which film we're gonna have that problem with. Anyway, second from the bottom, Random and I, we both have A Bug's Life. Random, is Brave better than A Bug's Life?
Yes.
Okay. I wholeheartedly agree. Even though I said that I had a lot of issues with like staying focused, the main core of the film that needed to work, the mother-daughter stuff, that worked. The core of A Bug's Life didn't. Kirby fan, you had Cars 2. Is Brave better than Cars 2?
No. No, I'm just kidding. Of course I'm kidding. Yes, it's definitely a lot better than Cars 2.
Okay, perfect. Third from the bottom, we all have the same third from the bottom, which is Ratatouille. So,
Hey, at least that's similar.
I'll start this time. I feel that, yes, I think this is better than... Bless you.
You're bound to sneeze eventually.
I'm sorry.
That sneeze made me think about this.
Ooh.
All right. While you're thinking about it, Random. Do you
Random.
prefer Brave?
Is this better than Ratatouille?
Yes.
All right. Elaborate a bit because it seemed to take you a little while to think about it.
I thought about it and it's for a couple reasons. One, even though both protagonists can technically be considered not that great, I still enjoy Meredith more. Also, like, you can enjoy this movie even if you aren't a fan of cooking. And if you're not just from Scotland. I mean, you'll enjoy it more if you know Scotland, I'm sure. But it's just, I don't know. I just enjoyed watching it more than Ratatouille.
Okay, great. Kirby fan?
I also prefer Brave to Ratatouille. This was a much easier choice for me. Should I elaborate, or are you ready to make your decision?
No, I think I'm ready to make my decision.
All right. The wash. Do you prefer Ratatouille, Brave, or Cars 2?
The answer is Cars 2.
I knew it.
You traitor. No, I'm kidding.
Traitor. I will ultimately say yes. Brave is better than Ratatouille. Because as I said earlier, the core that needed to work at least worked. Remy got on my nerves. Even though they're both characters that got on my nerves, Remy was... He's the core of this, and there were a lot of moments where I was like, you ass.
Also, another reason, Meredith grew a lot more than Remy did.
Yeah, that's it.
Remy barely grew. When Remy did grow, it felt kind of forced.
This one, it felt natural.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And like it or not, at least this movie had a B plot.
Yeah, that's true. It did have a B plot.
And it tied into the A plot. And, whether you thought it was good or bad, it worked. Tying the B plot into the A plot worked. You look at the A plot and nothing else. That's what I said about Ratatouille, right?
I think what was making it hard for me was that I really enjoyed, quote, the rest. Especially the stuff with Linguini and Skinner. But I just started to realize that, no, wait a minute. They're not the focus of this. The movie's literally called Ratatouille. Okay, so moving on up. You, Kirby, and you, Random, have Toy Story 3, while I, the Wash, have Cars.
All right, well, you're the
this
one who messed up the tradition this time. So you go first.
Oh, Lord, okay.
Cars? Oh, man. Okay, I have to be the one to ask you this. Cars or Brave?
I just realized it's my damn ego again. Nope, it's Cars.
Really?
Yeah, because I had a lot of issues with Cars. I didn't necessarily have... I did have, an issue with, in terms of length. There was a certain point where I felt it was too long. But I didn't have trouble with, tone. And I didn't have trouble with pacing. In fact, the pacing of Cars was one of its few good attributes. And especially like you have said, the whole thing, it starts out about being super fast. And then the rest of the film becomes about slowing down. And that becomes important to Lightning's arc of trying to grow past. Even though I don't like Lightning as a character. Lightning and Radiator Spring had a much better connection than mother-daughter Bear. So, I'm very sorry, but I'm gonna have to put it just one beneath. Although, I am gonna say it is very close.
All right. Random, do you have your answer? Between Brave and Toy Story 3, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You have
You got your answer?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Uh-oh. What's your answer, bucko?
I like Brave better than Toy Story 3. Oh God! Every time I say this with a movie, it's gonna hate me because I don't.
Look. You think you got it bad. I'm gonna say this every single time. I got Cars really high.
Yes, you have it at number 3.
I have it at number 3.
Considering how sad you feel about it, do you want to elaborate on why?
It's more of the ego talking, because like everyone says especially after watching the Toy Story review, people review Toy Story 4 and saying, "Oh God, Toy Story 3 is so magnificent," and I'm just like,
people. A lot of people still really like Toy Story 3,
and I'm like, just watch it again. Just watch it again. It's been 9 years. Watch it one more time and see if it really holds up.
And if it does, then good. Good on
If
you.
it does, great, but it did not do it for me. Maybe because I watched it so much. And the fact that it's too reliant on nostalgia. Especially after watching 4. You don't need nostalgia to make a Toy Story film. I mean, I get it. You could have it be part of it, but it's still... The nostalgia gets in the way with the story. I like the mother and daughter relationship better. I was about to say, sure, the villain might be better in Toy Story 3, but even then, that's debatable. I don't know. Again, the mother-daughter conflict does it better for me than watching characters from almost 10 years ago being, gosh, remember when that happened? That was great. Oh, this is a prison movie now.
That is a very savage and accurate description of Toy Story 3.
It is. And there is a bit of a pacing problem, but honestly, with Toy Story 3, it's not exactly best in the pacing department either. And, and what I really like about Brave is better than what I really like about Toy Story 3 now.
Oh, okay. Very good. You almost convinced me to put Brave above Cars now. Just so I can put it above Toy Story 3.
Oh, you might have some soul searching to do and bring Cars up a little higher.
Alright, well, let's go to Kirby. Is Brave better than Toy Story 3?
Yes.
High five!
Do you want to elaborate on that?
I share a lot of the same sentiments with Random. To kind of morph your points, I guess. I thought what was really supposed to work in Brave really worked, and what was supposed to work in Toy Story 3 was boggled down by nostalgia. And that is ultimately the big thing. Toy Story 3 being a prison movie was the stupidest thing. Brave being a movie about a mother and daughter was something that made rational sense. The villain in Toy Story 3 was kind of... I'll give that to Toy Story 3. I actually can't believe I'm saying this, but...
They had a better villainous bear.
I think I prefer Lotso to MORDU, which is pretty bad.
out of all of villainous bears Pixar has done in the world.
I can't believe that's a track record now.
Pixar's got a 2 for 2 with freaking bears.
Actually, is there another one?
If there is, I don't think we've gotten to him yet.
Sully in Monsters University?
Hey, we haven't gotten to that one yet, like I said.
Kitty!
You can't spoil the twist villain in that.
Okay.
I've been a real jerk.
Alright, perfect. Alright, great. Moving up for the two of you. Kirby, you have Toy Story 2. Random, you have Cars. Let's start with Kirby.
Yes, thank you.
Is Brave better than Toy Story 2?
I hate to put it like this, but no way.
Ooh, no way. Now you
No
definitely
way.
have to elaborate on that.
The quality gap I don't think is that big. I mean, it's noticeable. It's much bigger than Brave and Toy Story 3, for example. But the big thing with Toy Story 2 and what really carries that movie for me, the reason why I love Toy Story 2 so much, it is still, to this day, we have watched 14 Pixar...
13.
13. Okay, so Brave is 13th, and then we watched Toy Story 4. So we've watched 14 Pixar movies for this, and Toy Story 2 is handily the funniest one out of all of them. So much about Toy Story 2 was just so funny. So much of that movie that didn't work, like the stupid twist villain and a lot of the weird Woody stuff. And, you know, it's like you were watching two different movies instead of one unified movie. Valid complaints, but it's so funny. There's so much I think about with Toy Story 2 that just, it still makes me laugh after all this time just as hard, if not harder, than when we first watched it. And that's so good to me. I love that stuff. And I look at Brave, and it's like, all right, yeah, you know, it's got, you know, a lot of problems. You know, had pacing problems, had multiple different movie problems, maybe. But it does not have the humor. The humor in this movie was hit and miss. There was stuff that I really loved. There, getting a character whose humor is relatable to Sam and Max was incredible, but this is just, it's not Toy Story 2 funny. Toy Story 2 is just, it's so funny. And that's, I said it when I was comparing Wally and Eve to Mike and Sully. I like comedy. If you're gonna give me something that's not as funny versus something that's more funny, I'm gonna probably pick the one that's more funny. And Toy Story 2 is, in my opinion, at this point still Pixar's funniest.
Okay, very good. Now, Random, we got a question for you. Is Brave better than Cars? Spit it out.
In the words of Otto from WALL-E, no.
All right.
Ow.
Definitely elaborate.
Nice callback.
Yeah. Thank you. Also, wash that hurt my ears.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I blew right into the mic, didn't I?
It's alright. This one was hard. I say this because, like you said, like you actually probably were my final nail in the coffin, Wash.
Oh, did I?
Because you pointed out something. You pointed out the pacing in... Well, I mean, I knew the pacing in Brave was not that great, but yet the pacing of Cars was a smooth driving cruise. I do technically like the protagonist more, and the mother-daughter relationship is great. It's not enough to save the whole movie, whereas the driving slow in a fast world theme is enough for me with Cars. Like, it works to make Cars okay. And I just preferred Cars. I would say it's close, but it's really not.
Ooh.
I feel like there's going to be something in between Cars and Brave.
There might be.
Maybe Good Dinosaur?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves now. But it's Cars. Why do you keep getting higher?
Now, welcome to my world.
Okay. Do your math.
We have our rankings in front of us. Again, 12 Days of Christmas. In this case, we now have 13. From the bottom up, Cars 2 at 28. A Bug's Life at 29. Ratatouille at 33. Brave at 38. Toy Story 3 at 38.
Ooh.
Oh!
Toy Story 2 at 44. Cars at 46. Toy Story 1 at 48. Monsters Inc. at 51. WALL-E at 54. Up at 57. Finding Nemo at 59. Incredibles at 60. I have to make a count. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are tied for 9th place. What a weird honor.
That's not nearly as exciting as the battle between Finding Nemo and The Incredibles.
No, but it's such a weird honor that they're tied amongst each other.
Yeah, honestly.
So,
Oh my god. Toy Story 3 and Brave?
Between Toy Story 3 and Brave, yeah. I apologize. Because
It's okay.
I'm the only person that put Toy Story 3 above Brave.
Because you put Toy Story 3 above Cars.
I did.
How dare you disrespect Cars, the best Pixar movie of all time.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, unironically.
Someone gets it.
All right. Well,
I don't know if it's my ego, but I still can't not laugh when saying that. I can I don't laugh when I say Cars is good, but I laugh when I say it's the best movie.
Look. I laughed at first too. It'll warm up to you one day. Don't worry.
After Cars 2, I didn't laugh. I was like, yes, Cars is so much better. All right. So,
yeah, that's all for Brave.
That is all for Brave. That was
What's...
That was like a Band-Aid ripping it off, but you know what? I feel more relaxed now, and and like a Band-Aid, I feel better healed.
I wouldn't call it a Band-Aid because I had minimum expectations for Brave, but also it's not like I didn't expect it to be terrible like other Pixar movies that are coming up.
I guess I just really needed to figure out like what my issue was, and it finally took this viewing to start to notice the pacing stuff.
Now what's next?
Now we hang up.
Oh boy.
Oh, what is? Oh.
I knew it. I knew it.
This is directed at me, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's right. Because this is a particular film that should have been very near and dear to me. Although I should point out that I just looked in the ranking. Kirby, you have Monsters Inc. one higher than me.
Yeah. Right now I have Monsters Inc. the highest, which is another reason why I'm going. Oh boy.
Where do I have Monsters Inc.?
You have it below. You have it one below me. You have it below Toy Story 1.
I need to look at my rank again.
Yes, you do. But in the meantime, thank you very much. We will. I guess we'll just have to see what happens when monsters have homework to do.
Oh God, I wonder how this is gonna feel finally done with college.
Oh my God, I'm so not looking forward to it. Especially when you look at what comes after Monsters University, you just want to think, can we just skip this one?
What comes after Monsters
Well,
University?
in fact, I'm probably gonna mention why it has that issue of right after Monsters University is that particular film.
Which one?
Inside Out.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh God, that means... Oh no!
Welcome to Hell Month, the longest month of our lives, August.
It's like I'm not looking forward to Monsters University.
I'm starting to miss Brave again.
Yeah, me too. Cars, you're only gonna get higher from here.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. In the meantime, thank you so much for listening.
And say who you are.
Oh yeah, I'm Watch.
I'm Random Bystander here.
I got nothing.
I don't blame you. Monsters University is up next. All right, and have a great night.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Credit music.
Monsters University is up next.